I want to give you a couple examples of how to evaluate a thematic map. So the first one we're going to look at is current weather temperatures from the Weather Channel, a very common type of map that you see out there. And so the first question is, what's the spatial dimension? And in this case, we're looking at a volume because it covers the entire area. It is also continuous for the spatial characteristic. The third question would be, what's the level of measurement? And temperature is a little bit funky. In the United States, we use Fahrenheit to gauge temperature. And because we can't make a ratio claim, meaning that 80 degrees is twice as warm as 40 degrees, we're actually dealing with an interval scale, a non-logarithmic scale. They're very uncommon. We see them mainly with temperature, with Richter scale for measuring earthquakes, and pH values for acidity in soil or in water. So keep an eye out for them, and if you can't make a ratio claim, then it's interval. The visual variable is what is the visual variable that's representing the thematic overlay. And in this case, we're looking at temperature, and so it's actually color. It's these different color bands representing the 10 degrees of heat or coolness in the temperature. So color. The next one is we'd ask, is this an appropriate use of the visual variable? And in this case, since color, as we just saw in the lecture, is actually a qualitative variable, think of it like comparing apples and oranges or oranges and reds, that we actually need to use something different for a quantitative variable like interval. So in this case, it should be that we're using a single color like red or blue and varying the saturation value. But I can hear your complaints already. You're commonly seeing this for weather maps, where we see different color bands for different values. And what we do is we call this an associative scale, that we're so used to seeing blue as cold and red as hot, that weather mapping has changed the way that they represent maps to show it. So scientifically, we could say that this is an incorrect use of color, but in practice, we've developed a new system.